This is One Call That's All Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee, alongside former Packer Bryan Bulaga. Here's Emmy Award winner.
Be back. Why am I going to let a guy decide if I don't know he's going to be back? The biggest unknown about Giannis is how much say he had in past hirings. That the Bucks wanted to hire Nick Nurse and Giannis wanted somebody else. I don't know if that stuff has ever been confirmed, but anyway, so Taylor Jenkins is the new head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. We have the Discount Liquor Twitter poll question already up. Is Mike Vrabel going to get fired by the New England Patriots? I have no interest in discussing it, but I am curious as to what people think on Twitter. Do I think he's going to get fired? I do not. But the important question that always follows any opinion on this show, of $100 bet, how much would I bet? I would have said 90 up until he missed the draft to have whatever consultation, whatever. That like it's the only day. It's clearly all for show. Like if you're going to do any, going to get any therapy, you don't have to do it the day of the draft, but I'm not sure how much he has to do in the draft. It might all be Wolf's, so it's no that big a deal. But so I would now bet 50 of 100 that he will not be fired. Joining us now is Bryan Bulaga. You, of course, given that you are the doctor of football, have the right to pass on that question. We will not be discussing it either way, but
yeah, I mean, there's nothing to really discuss on the topic. My guess is that he won't be fired.
Okay. And how much would you bet on a scale of 1 to 100?
I'd bet $75 on it.
Very good. We can move on. Jason Wilde will be coming up in a little bit, but this is draft day, but it's really not. Everything is important, this is my standard, as it relates to the Green Bay Packers. They don't have a pick. Draft is tomorrow. Now, there may be some interest based on could some of these selections today lead someone to an indication of who they might take tomorrow. There's this kid, the defensive back out of Tennessee who missed all last season. And with a knee injury, and thought that maybe he would be still taken early. Now maybe he's dropping. If he's there at 52, I will have to call you, the doctor of football, as to whether or not the little that I followed was that he missed all last year because of an injury, but there may be other medical issues. I don't know the history of taking a risk on that versus given whatever the injury is. But I'm sure they've done major studies, and if he's that good and you can get him at 52, I don't care if he doesn't play a year.
Yeah.
He can take.
I mean, that's the thing. Because from what I've heard, and this is just from what I've heard on him, it was an ACL, right? Like that's what I've heard.
I think so.
And that's a routine deal these days. That's routine. So it's a matter of how does that knee look post-surgery. I think he ran like a 4.35 or something like that.
I believe that
at his pro day.
Jermon McCoy.
Yeah, I think he ran a 4.35, jumped 38.
He missed last year with a torn ACL. Do you know what the toughest part is of doing much more in-depth on the draft now that I'm part of the show tomorrow? There are so many bizarre first names.
Well, that's the tough part. That's what I was concerned about when I had to read names off at the draft for the Packers. I was like, please don't give me a crazy name that I'm not able to pronounce, or I look like an idiot up there butchering this kid's name on draft day. That would make me feel horrible.
Jermod, Jermod. Have you ever heard of that before?
He would be the first Jermod.
Yeah. And man, it's a family name. I'm not making fun of names. It's just the kid from the cornerback from LSU. Mansour Delane. I think Mansour. That's
that would be the first Mansour.
Right, and then you have some of the names that you know the name, but they're spelled differently. I am, of course, waiting for the first Lamangelo. That, of course, was the child's name when I first came to Milwaukee in 1989 that was involved in some sort of a mother problem. And I don't know if it was the birth or Lamangelo was the name she gave him because she looked up in the cabinet the day before and saw lemon jello.
Oh.
And so he or she, I remember, Lamangelo. I kind of like it, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
I didn't try to sell that on my wife. My attempt, of course, was a BB Bikila.
Whatever gives you inspiration, I guess. Yeah. Whatever gives you inspiration.
So
it's good with me.
And I love the way they changed it from Lemon Jello. I mean, you don't want a kid named Lemon Jello. Lamangelo. All right. Since there is no draft tonight for the Green Bay Packers, unless they would make a deal, that doesn't mean. Do you keep track of the Iowa guys? I got what do they have? A guard and a
center,
Logan Jones. But that's, I don't know, the discussion of Wisconsin. Wisconsin's so bad, they don't have anybody anywhere. But I think I have Iowa only 2 players in the top 100. Seems to me that in past years there would have been more than 2. But
yeah, normally there's 4 or 4.
Yeah.
They don't have a tight end this year, which is shocking. So that's a reason why. I'm sure there'll be a tight end coming out in next year's draft that will end up getting drafted probably in the first or second round if I had to take a guess.
All right, here's what I got on number 1, ranked 71st. Is it Jennings Dunker?
Yep.
Okay. He is the 5th best guard according to the guy in The Athletic. I haven't checked with Mel Kiper. It says Paul Bunyan. That means, I guess he's very big. Old school power.
Yeah.
Does that make any? Make any sense to you?
Yeah, that's what he is. I think he's going to be a good guard in the NFL. I think he's going to be very, very productive for whoever takes him. He's made of all the right stuff, that's for sure. And I think the center, Logan Jones, is going to be very, very good.
All right. I have Logan Jones down as 95. Blocker, undersized, great hands and strength.
Yeah.
You would agree with that or not?
Yep. Yeah. He's not 6'4" or 6, whatever it is for, size-wise, but he's extremely strong. He's tough. He's got great hands. He's got good feet. Gets himself in good positions as a center to reach block and do things like that. He climbs up to the second level well. So those 2 guys are going to make a team very happy.
You realize the Packers could take them both if they wanted them. They could probably get Dunker at 52, and they can probably get Jones at 84. We will discuss that. Yeah, we'll discuss that more. But right now, a quick break because Jason Wilde's next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
We've got a couple of issues out there. First of all, Highway 100 southbound at Capitol Drive. The left lane is blocked with a crash. On the northbound side, the 3 left lanes are blocked. because of this crash. So watch out for that area around Capitol Drive and Highway 100. Onto the freeway. Southbound on 41, backing up before Appleton Avenue all the way down to Capitol Drive. Northbound slow from Watertown Plank Road all the way up to about Hampton. We've also got delays southbound on the bypass, technically starting before Blue Mound Road all the way down past Lincoln, and then back on the brakes from Oklahoma Avenue around the Hale to Forest Home. We've also got delays on northbound 94 right at the collector ramp at Layton. This is a crash here off on the right shoulder. Now, this is like the third one in a week here that we've had in that same spot. The collector ramp at Layton Avenue is just heading into the Mitchell interchange, so just be extra careful heading through there. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight. Chance for showers and storms, a low of 57. Tomorrow, morning showers and storms, mostly cloudy with a high of 67. For the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
All day, every day. The Carbless talk and text line is open for you.
We're not trying to get from A to B. We're trying to get from A to SB, as in the Super Bowl.
800-990-3776. The Carbless talk and text line. This is more. Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
Spring has arrived in the Geneva Lakes region, and there is no better place to welcome the season than the award-winning Lake Lawn Resort. Enjoy lakeside dining at 1878 on the lake, golf for all ages and abilities at Majestic Oaks, relaxing spa experiences at the award-winning Calidora Spa, and endless recreation opportunities along the resort's 2 miles of shoreline on beautiful Delavan Lake. Plan your spring getaway today at lakelawnresort.com and come find out for yourself why everything is better at the lake.
One of the most important concepts in sports is don't drop the ball. Are you dropping the ball with your estate plan? When was it last updated? Have you even done one at all? ESPN Wisconsin's Jason Wilde for Walney Legal Group. There's a lot at stake for you and your family when it comes to wills, trusts, probate, and elder planning. At Walney Legal, that's all they do. Tailored documents. No confusing legal jargon. Just thoughtful guidance. Do the blocking and tackling to protect your family. Start a conversation today at WalneyLegal.com.
Heck yeah! It's ESPN Wisconsin's Alex Stroh for Robert Hack Diamonds. 3 locations in the Milwaukee area, 2 in Brookfield, 1 in Greenfield, where I went, to buy my fiance's dream engagement ring. You don't become Wisconsin's most trusted and respected name in diamonds on accident. Robert Hack Diamonds has been in Wisconsin for almost 80 years, serving the Milwaukee area and all of the state with top-notch customer service and all the help you need along the way. I had no idea what I was doing. I knew I got the girl right, but I wanted to get the diamond right too, and Robert Hack Diamonds made sure that happened. If you're looking to take that next step just like I did, there's only one place to go. That's Robert Hack Diamonds, 3 locations in the Milwaukee area. Tell them I sent you, and whether you like me have no idea what you're doing or have a really good idea of what you're doing, go to the best in Wisconsin. You want that day to be special, and you want that ring to be special. They created my fiance's dream engagement ring, and they can create yours too. Visit them online, roberthackdiamonds.com, or in Greenfield or Brookfield. And just like me, you'll leave that store saying, heck yeah, because of Robert Hack Diamonds.
Hail damage? Siding Unlimited is here to help. We are not the storm chasers. That's important. Siding Unlimited doesn't chase storms. However, if the storm comes into our area like it just did, we're always available to help. Why is that important? Storm chasers skip town, leaving you with a roof with 0 warranty. Siding Unlimited uses a roofing system that will get you a 50-year warranty on parts, pieces, and workmanship. Siding Unlimited will be there if you have a call down the road. Siding Unlimited is your local family partner on this project. We're here for you. Visit sidingunlimited.com today, but definitely stop by Siding Unlimited's open house on Saturday, April 25th from 9 to 1 p.m.
This is the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. It's time for Jason Wilde on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
We have impressive news, Bryan Bulaga. Someone associated to Jason Wilde, who was on the Yuengling Wilde hotline, scored a goal in a soccer game missing a shoe. Now, I don't know. I've got to check to see the accuracy of that, of my inside information. Joining us now is Jason Wilde. Jason, the accuracy of that story.
Yeah, she did. She lost her shoe and still managed to take a couple more touches and put the ball in the back of the net. So Jaguars up 2-0 at the half, unlike the last time I joined you when they were down.
Now, did they come
2-0.
back or did they lose that game?
No, they lost 2-0. So hopefully the same happens here where they have a 2-0.
Is this something she's done on a regular basis, or is this the first goal without a shoe?
She has 5 goals in 6 games, 1 without a shoe.
Oh, in the Golden Boot race.
You would think she's related to Bulaga instead of me, given the athleticism she's shown. So I think that just underscores how lucky she is to have Paula.
You can't get away with that on this show. Jason Wilde, I believe, could have been a professional bowler or very close to that if he'd wanted to.
That's not athleticism.
Of course it is. What? Yes, it is.
I mean, I was a better. Let me just say this. And
okay, you go ahead and say that.
I don't want to push you down to push myself up. I always get after the girls for that. But I think, as athletes go, I was slightly above average, and others maybe slightly below average. But she didn't have a former NFL player. I'll take the Bulaga kids over the Wilde kids.
Hold on. There's one other part to this that's very important. Their mother.
Yeah, she was an elite gymnast.
Okay,
so,
there you have it.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, now let's get to the Packers and the draft, though there is no real draft tonight because Packers don't draft. And only things are important only as they relate to the Green Bay Packers. However, take it away, Doc.
So, Jason, tonight, do you pay attention, I'll pay attention to who the NFC North teams are selecting and how that helps their roster? Is that kind of what you
good
see on
point.
when Green Bay doesn't have a pick?
Wrong.
Absolutely. That's really all I'm probably going to do mostly tonight, right? I mean, I got a 10 o'clock hit on Channel 3 in Madison, and that's all I'll have to talk about, barring some sort of stunning trade that the Packers move back into the first round, which I know I never say never. I mean, they traded for Micah Blank and Parsons, for goodness sake, so you never know what might happen. But I don't see them, it's kind of a popular narrative. Well, John Schneider's looking to move the 32nd pick to get more picks. I think there's a chance that Brian Gutekunst is looking to move the 52nd pick to get more picks. I saw this from Elliot Wolf, and I've used it kind of on every show I've appeared on because I think it's really insightful about where this draft stands. And it was good to see something come out of New England that wasn't related to Mike Vrabel's situation. Elliott said that there's basically 20 guys that are first-round picks. Now, the Packers would have had the 20th pick if they had not traded it for Parsons. But after that, Elliot Wolf said that it drops off from basically 20 to 50. They're all kind of the same guy. Obviously, they play different positions. Obviously, you have different needs, each team that's going to be drafting in that window. But I think his point is that there's kind of a shelf there, and whether you're picking a guy 21st or you're picking a guy 41st, it might be the same value on your board. And so what that creates is what I think we've heard a bunch of people talk about, which is this could be one of the most unpredictable drafts, and a lot of people's mock drafts could be way off just because it depends on what flavor of ice cream you like, right? And so, again, the problem with the idea of people trading up is that it takes two to tango, right? And you have to have some trade partner that sees a guy falling that they really like, and they want to go up and get him. Now, could that happen under these circumstances? It could. But I also think there's probably a lot of teams whose attitude is going to be, oh, I might get this guy at 43. I don't need to go up. Or I might be able to get this guy at 56. I don't need to move up 4 spots to 52 and give up one of my fifth-round picks to trade with the Packers. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how tomorrow plays out. And then it's going to be really interesting to see how tonight affects what happens tomorrow. Because, as we've talked about throughout the week, first time since 1986 that the Packers have gone into a draft without their first-round pick. But you were on the team for one of these, and the other one was with one of your eventual teammates when you arrived. In 2008, they had a first-round pick. They didn't use it. They traded back, and they took Jordy Nelson. in 2017, they had a first-round pick. They didn't use it. They traded back 5 spots. T.J. Watt went in the interim, but they traded back, and then they took Kevin King at the top of the second round. So, there could be teams that have a first-round pick now that see value in trading back. I don't see the Packers with only 8 picks to work with wanting to use up more draft capital to get to, say, number 32. And if that happens, I will be 1,000% wrong, and Goody and John Schneider will have engineered a trade. But I don't know, given John Schneider's track record in recent years, any trade that he makes, I'm guessing that whoever he made it with, he's going to win it.
Yeah, they're going to get the wrong end of that deal.
Yep, exactly.
That's the way it's gone. So I guess, because I've heard the same thing too, that this draft, there's about 16 round one grades.
Ooh,
right? Like
even fewer.
That's what I've heard in my research. So like, I guess my question would be, like, kind of like what you mentioned, do you see more Goody going back and acquiring more?
Yeah, I think that's his goal. Now, I think it's important to note that was his goal last year too. He went into the draft with 8 picks. He actually had a first-round pick, obviously, and used it on Matthew Golden. But he went in. I mean, I was going through the transcript from last year's pre-draft press conference, and a lot of the stuff is exactly the same, except there's a few discussions about the draft being in Green Bay. But other than that, one thing he says, we've got 8 picks right now. I'd like to have 10 or 11 or 12. He ended up with 8. He didn't end up getting any extra picks last year. So, again, to your point, like, now it becomes a question of how strongly do you feel about a specific player that you're willing to go up to get him. And when I look at what you just said, I have a hard time imagining there's going to be a lot of instances where teams want to go up to get a specific player because they're thinking, well, who knows? Maybe the board falls and these guys are all graded the same, and I'll just wait for them to come down, and hope that they get to me. And if not, I'll settle for somebody who I don't like quite as much, but I have essentially the same grade on. So again, I'm very curious to see how this plays out based on how this draft is, because the other thing you don't have, and this is the great carrot that teams that want to trade back have in their arsenal, is a bunch of quarterbacks that people want to go up and get, right?
Yep.
And there aren't those. It's Mendoza and then maybe Ty Simpson from Alabama, but I don't know. I've seen Carson Beck mentioned. Like, that's how crazy it is. Like, if you're that desperate, maybe you do that. Like, many years ago, the Minnesota Vikings drafted Christian Ponder in the first round. He had no business going in the first round, but when you don't have a great quarterback, which you obviously didn't experience very often. I mean, even when you went to the Chargers. And when you're not a very good GM. Yeah, then you take those chances and you figure, hey, it's worth the risk, because if I get it right, we've got our guy. And, the Chargers obviously got Justin Herbert, who is good, not great. And I think that, this is the same thing that teams are searching for now. It's just funny to me how desperate you can be and we just don't have enough experience with it, because the discussions we have around here are, yeah, Jordan Love's good, but he's, not Aaron Rodgers good or Brett Favre good. Well, talk about champagne problems compared to what teams have that don't have. You can win a Super Bowl with Jordan Love at quarterback. No doubt. I don't know if you'll win one because of him at this point in his career, but you definitely can win one with him. Yeah, he needs to do what the guy did in Seattle. When you need him for a big game, he's got to be able to come through. He gets paid a lot more than the guy in Seattle, though, and I do wonder, and I'm in no way that limits what they can do. Yeah, well, I just wonder if teams that, like, what is Malik Willis getting, $30-some million a year? I think was his average, or maybe even a little below that. Like, I am in no way saying they don't want Jordan Love as their quarterback. What I am saying is it'll be interesting to see, based on what Seattle did here, if there'll be more teams that'll say, I'd rather have a guy I can win with and not try to sell the farm to try and get a guy that I can win because of. Yeah, how much to spend. By the way, my Senior Bowl obsession, Lee Hunter, Texas Tech, T.J. Parker, Clemson,
2 defensive tackles. If I'm right,
Hunter came for a visit. I like your chances on Hunter. I know the Packers like him, whether or not he's there. Now, there's a guy.
He's more likely to be there, I think, than Parker. But my sources are not very good. I'll bet $3 on it.
No, that's a pretty good take, Homer. And I don't mean to sound surprised.
Go ahead.
I think it's.
I'm surprised.
No, I really like. I've heard the same buzz about Hunter again. When they like him at the Senior Bowl and then they bring him in for a visit, I think that's a pretty good sign. I know in our mock draft last night on our little TV show up here on WBAY, both Rob Domofsky and Bill Huber took him.
Really?
Which is probably the kiss of death, and he'll be gone long before 52. But that's a guy that maybe Goody says, look, we're not going to get him if we stay at 52, and then that's worth trading up to 46 or 44 to try and go get him.
And then you got the center from Iowa, but I got another guy, Jake Slaughter from Florida, and I'll have to have the doctor of football look at him. Thanks, Jason. Hope 2-0 works out well.
The second half is underway, and they still have the lead. So we'll see if Shula's Sid can score another goal.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Take care. Be good.
Keep the shoe off. I don't believe that I have ever seen, and I didn't watch that much high school or college soccer. My daughter says I was always busier during the soccer season than the basketball season, which is true.
It's true.
I don't think I ever saw anybody score with missing a shoe. How about you?
I have not, and I've been watching a lot of soccer over the last 6 years, and I have not seen it yet.
So I mentioned the 2 Iowa players, but I've never studied that closely, but the connection, Packers have done pretty well with Iowa players, and I'm not even counting you in the list. I'm saying you're an obvious one, but they've had some success with Iowa players, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They've had good success with guys coming from there. So, I mean, and that's the thing. Like Goody knows that. Everyone knows that. Iowa guys normally do pretty well when they get onto a team. It's just kind of the way it goes, and they're prepared, they're ready. And if you don't get Dunker, if he's gone, and the center is there, and you have a chance to take the center,
you give him a big thumbs up. He's listed in mine by the guy at The Athletic as the 95th best player. So the Packers have pick 52. I don't know if they would go there, but 84 you would strongly support. Pick 84. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Bryan Bulaga. And it's just a coincidence that he played at Iowa. There's no real connection whatsoever.
None. But he did. I believe he was the Remington winner, if I'm not mistaken. I think he won the Remington.
I am proud to say I don't know who the Remington winner is. However, I know who Remington was.
Yeah. I'm fairly certain he won
one
that
of the
award.
greatest centers ever in college at Nebraska, but I don't think he was as good in the pros as they thought. But
yeah. Oh, what's that?
We have another goal by Sidney Wilde. It is 3-0 Jaguars.
With a shoe on?
I believe the shoe was on. Let me double check with my sources.
Now that would be cocky. Keep the shoe off.
Yeah, if the shoe stayed off, and if the shoe was off, and she did it again.
I think if she was my daughter, she knows she could get away with it. I don't think she could get away with it with Jason. Jason would, on the way home, say, "Come on,
put your shoe on.
Put your shoe on. Don't try to embarrass him." But I, on the other hand, look at it as something that would be memorable for years.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people that scored. How many scored twice with no shoe on?
A brace.
Yes.
A brace, and it's still a lot of time left on that clock for a hat trick. So
yes.
A lot of time available for Sidney
I
Wilde
get two. I'm taking the shoe off.
Yeah, I think it's I mean, if you get the third, your celebration has to be taking your shoe off and putting it up to your ear like you're making a call.
That is the greatest thing. We refer to that in our family as an Abibi Bakila, who won the marathon with no shoes. And then 4 years later said, I'm going to put them on and still win. He did, and he did.
Yeah.
How about that? Try that. Bryan Bulaga, first team All-Pro with cleats on next year, no shoes, and he's first team All-Pro. That would be impressive. I think Lawrence Taylor could have done it, but I can't. You can tell me I'm wrong. Do you think Lawrence Taylor could have been All-Pro without shoes?
Playing on that AstroTurf, probably.
All right. Other than the worry about injury, everybody jump on his feet.
Yes.
All right.
Besides getting your foot stomped.
We will get to your calls, 1-800-990-3776, the Carbless Talking text line. I really don't want to use it, but Bryan has stated many times he'd rather get questions from you than me, and it is the Bryan Bulaga Homer Hour. Milwaukee weight loss, I was at 229, now I'm at 205, and it's very simple. It works as I did it because other people told me it did, and you basically eat less, and you're happy eating less. How does that work? Well, they got a system. And for a limited time, get $200 off with the spring special, 262-235-3980. Your way of doing it may be different than mine. Mine is that whenever I want to eat now, I can have a salad. I never used to like salads, but I found a salad dressing that has 0 sugar. That's part of what you want. And I found a barbecue sauce that has 0 sugar. So now I can eat pretty much whatever I want and not gain weight, and I'm happy. You might do other stuff. 262-235-3980. MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Again, $200 off with a spring special. Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
All right, we got problems in the Mitchell interchange. The off-ramp to Layton Avenue from the 94 northbound collector ramp is closed because of this crash here. So just be careful if you're going to be heading through that area. You'll have to make your way around that. We've also got this other crash off the freeway at Highway 100 and Capitol Drive. We got lanes blocked heading through that whole area, so you do want to be extra careful with that. Southbound on 43, heavy from Capitol Drive all the way down to the KK River crossing. Northbound slowing from Lincoln up to north. Westbound 94 is heavy from about 27th Street to Hawley Road, back on the brakes just west of Highway 100 to Sunny Slope, and then from Moreland Road all the way to Calhoun. More delays than beyond that from Springdale Road to Highway 164. On the eastbound side, pretty much bookend from 164 past Highway F to about Brookfield Road, and then you're back on the brakes from 84th Street through to 35th. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast tonight. Chance for showers and storms, a low of 57. Tomorrow, morning showers and storms, mostly cloudy with a high of 67. For the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga, 94.5 ESPN.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Ever notice how wine enthusiasts often speak a completely different language? And while that language may technically be English, to most people, it's anything but. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor, where we stock over 8,000 varieties of wine and speak many dialects of wine English to help everyone, from the wine novice to the master sommelier. So if you need an expert recommendation for wine, or maybe you know what you want and simply need help locating it, our experienced staff has got your back. No matter the budget, occasion, or your level of wine expertise, Discount Liquor will make you feel at home. Discount Liquor, unmatched selection, everyday low prices, a helpful staff, and 2 convenient locations. In Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma, and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow and Maine.
Discount Liquor.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
Homer here with Mike Bruner of Window Nation.
how do you want to start about what you think people need to know about Window Nation that you know?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is they need to understand that we're not just a window company. I mean, we handle the install, every other aspect of that. If there's any follow-up service, you're going to have a sales rep or my number on the agreement where you can reach out and get things done very easily. Not that there is much follow-up service, but we're going to come in, kind of walk you through the process start to finish and get the job done right. We have some special ways of installing. Think about push-button cars 20 years ago. There was maybe one or two manufacturers that did it. Now everybody does it, and we are so ahead of the curve in how to properly install the windows. There's something that you're not going to see with every company out there.
With Window Nation's The More You Buy, The More You Save sale, you could save up to 50% off. Plus, you could get 0 interest for 5 years. Window Nation, proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
We have breaking news. J.T. Wooley's daughter has scored another goal with no shoes on. She took both her shoes off. I just made that up. Just give something to Jason to complain to me about. How could you do that, Homer? I got bad information. It happens on the internet and stuff. 1-800-990-3776 if you have a question for Bryan Bulaga. And you should know, even if I forget to do that, whenever Bryan Bulaga is on the air, you can ask him a question. Is that correct, Doc, right? You love questions from fans and stuff.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, you say of course. Not everybody does.
Well, yeah, I get it. But
and you can handle, we have a YouTube. What would we have to give up to trade into the first round? You know, and I responded, way, way, way too much.
Yeah, too much.
So you have to like someone to be willing to do that. Now, the later you get in the first round, then it's maybe way too much, not.
Yeah, because then you're giving up second, third, and maybe a next year, fourth, or like you're just giving up too much.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
If I'm doing that, I'm expecting that player to be first team All Pro.
You're looking at it. Yeah,
at some point in his career.
Yeah, you're looking at it like
years.
what Ted did with Clay.
Yes,
that's what he needs to be.
And the ability to be that sure of someone is tough.
Oh, yes. And listen, from who I've heard it from, and now what Jason was saying, what Elliot Wolf said about first round grades this year, 20 was what Elliot Wolf said. I heard around 16. Yeah, I just don't know if it's work. I don't know.
I don't think anybody's going to do it. They've said next year's draft is way better. There's just no reason because I don't. The quality of a player in a draft, to me, I don't want to say it's insignificant, but I compare that to all the drafts because I'm able to put my team together with players of multiple drafts, either from the other. And if the draft is weak, then it's weak, and I'm not going to go out of my way to get somebody.
Yep.
And they all say next year is going to be a much better draft. I had one of go ahead.
That's how you would work your board then.
Right. I mean, I would say this. It's possible that's why Goody doesn't have more picks. I don't want more picks.
Could be.
Yeah, that would explain it. So they're even less. I wanted to know, and you're too nice to mention anybody. Was there anybody that you either played against or was on the Packers that the position they were drafted just shocked you given their ability? Like you maybe said to your dad, and I was like, I can't believe this guy was picked in the X round or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I don't know, of course. I don't know. So they're.
Yeah, of course. There's guys that were drafted that definitely were. You got to let it play out for a few years, obviously, right, and see how they turn out.
I'm listening to whatever you say. I would think that you had an inkling of it pretty quickly if it was that.
Well, I always let guys get a year.
Because you're nice.
Yeah, always let guys get a year, see how they develop by the end of the year, and then year two, they either it's either like, wow, what was that? Or, oh, wow, that's what they saw. And there were multiple instances of that.
Any high early round, or most of them mid to late in terms of?
Trying to think. I mean, listen, obviously the year after me, they drafted Derek Sherrod and he snapped his leg. So, like,
Yes.
he never had an opportunity to even come through for his potential. So, like, I'm not even going to put.
I agree
him
with
in
you.
that category.
You just can't count injuries.
No, like, and his was devastating. So, like, you can't even count that. But yeah, there were guys in the higher rounds that you thought, man,
You're so nice. If I were you, I'd have said, dude couldn't have even been a backup at Iowa. And they picked him in the 4th round. Come on. I don't know what lines you would say.
But it just, I mean, listen, we've all said it. I mean, this thing's a crapshoot.
It happens because it's hard.
Yes. And you're drafting based on evaluation and tape and what they did in college. And sometimes that just does not translate. Now, did it happen a bunch in my time in Green Bay? Not really. Ted got a lot of
right.
things
You would
right.
say generally they're pretty good at it. It's hard, but they're pretty good at it. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
Ted
Ron
got
in
a lot
the
of
key.
things right.
Ron can't wait. Ron in the key. You're on with Bryan Bulaga because I know you don't have a question for me.
I mean, I bet you could answer it too. My stance, Brian, is if you were an NFL GM and the only thing you did every year was in the first 2 rounds, you take the best edge rusher or offensive lineman on the board every year. I don't care what your needs are. And then the only other thing you do is every year you call the dumbest 2 GMs in the league and let them tell you what they're interested in doing. Because there's some GM like that in all of the pro leagues. Every year there's like that guy did another dumb thing. And that's all you do, and you'd be a top 10 GM.
No, hold on. You said, now make sure I have this right. In the first 2 rounds, it's the highest rated edge rusher or offensive lineman, right?
Every year.
Every year. So the
like,
highest one of those 2 groups in the first round, you take them, and then in the second round, say, and it could be an offensive lineman at both spots or an edge, right? It's not.
You cannot have too many edge rushers, and you can't have too many offensive linemen. It's never happened in the history of the NFL.
And now,
my stance.
And now we have Bryan Bulaga, whether he's joining the club of Ron in the Key.
I'm going to say this. It's not like the most awful thought process, to be honest with you, because what he's saying is very accurate. Like, edge rushers are very hard to find, the ones that are great. And if you take that many cracks at the table, you're probably going to hit on at least a couple at some point. And same thing with offensive linemen. And the worst case scenario with the O-lineman is you've built really good depth on your O-line for 4 years or 5 years, right? Like you build great depth in your group that now you.
And I'm sure, Ron, you're thinking like wide receivers, other positions, cornerback. I can get them later. There's evidence of
It's not even just that. Is those 2 positions are multipliers. You can go back and look at the Justin Tuck, whatever, New York Giants. Their DBs, I'd say, were average.
Oh,
you have a stud.
Yeah, he makes
stud D line,
makes the job so much easier.
Everybody else is better.
All right. Thanks, Ron.
You can have an average running back.
Nicely done. Yeah, mine with Ron is different. Mine is about a good GM. Like, if I hear that Philly or the Seattle's interested in somebody, I'm not trading them. That tells me they're good. And it's like when Seattle picked up Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, but like you look at what Ron in the Key was saying, right? Once you've done that for 2 years, teams now start to think, okay, well, they're going to target ends and tackles. They've done their
so I'll get in front of them.
They've done their work, and now they're looking to trade with you, to get in front of you, to take. And now you can acquire tons of picks and still stick with your strategy.
Right. And plus, doing it with 2 positions helps because there are more people available.
Yes.
It was just one or the other. All right. Founded by inventors, fueled by community, and focused on business. For 130 years, Horicon Bank has helped Wisconsin businesses grow, doing banking differently since 1896. Today, that same local approach is now part of the Milwaukee business community. Yeah, they've been everywhere else. Now they're coming to Milwaukee. bringing decision-making closer to the people who matter most, you. Financing requests approved in days, not weeks. Bankers who understand your business. Products designed to support real cash flow needs. Because when it comes to commercial lending, Horicon Bank gets the job done, and they're doing it now in Milwaukee. Together, doing good for 130 years. Next round with Dr. Bryan Bulaga is next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on April 28th.
Turio sends it deep to left, and there she goes.
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness. Third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Tune in April 28th at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
Surfside iced tea and lemonade plus vodka is your go-to drink this golf season. It's light, refreshing, made with real vodka and zero bubbles. That's right, no carbonation. This spring, look out for the brand new half and half variety pack featuring flavors like raspberry iced tea and lemonade and blackberry iced tea and lemonade. No bubbles, no troubles. Cheers to hitting the fairway and cheers to Surfside. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
An epic Brewers Pirates series is coming April 24th through the 26th. Kick it off with Star Wars Night on Friday the 24th. And check out a post-game laser show presented by ESPN Milwaukee. Then on Saturday the 25th, get a Brewers Windbreaker giveaway courtesy of Courts. Wrap up the series with Family Sunday fun and kids cheer free. Plus, the first 5,000 kids take home an Abner Uribe poster. Grab a seat at Brewers.com.
When Milwaukee families need help, the United Way is there, reducing barriers to employment, providing transportation, safe and stable homes, and more for over 192,000 people.
And this month, CUNIS is proud to stand beside them. Hi, I'm Bill Eater with CUNIS of Milwaukee.
And I am Tony Avery with the United Way of Greater Milwaukee and Waukesha County. During the CUNIS Drives Milwaukee 1000 event, they're donating $100 to the United Way for every vehicle sold.
Our goal this month is simple: 1,000 vehicles across 3 CUNIS Milwaukee dealerships.
For a $100,000 donation to the United Way of Greater Milwaukee and Waukesha County.
To help us reach our goal, you'll find incredible deals on all new and pre-owned vehicles at our 3 locations in Greenfield, Oak Creek, and Hope Chevrolet on West Metro Auto Mall.
Be a part of Driving Milwaukee Forward at the CUNIS Drives Milwaukee 1000 event.
Start your search today at CUNISMKE.com. That's CUNISMKE.com.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
The Run for the Roses is coming to St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Join us Saturday, May 2nd for the Kentucky Derby Day in partnership with Woodford Reserve. Watch the race live, sip on specialty cocktails including the classic mint julep, and dress to impress. Best hat and best dress contests are on the card. Admission is free, or you can upgrade to VIP for $75 for exclusive food stations and 2 complimentary cocktails. Visit stkatearts.com to RSVP or grab your tickets at stkatearts.com.
At Saturn Lounge, we know if your marketing actually worked, you would know. Your website would perform, not just exist. Your storytelling would inspire, not fall flat. Your integrated campaigns would create impact, not excuses. There'd be no refreshing dashboards, no waiting on a report to explain what happened. It's time to generate quality leads and turn them into customers. Let's make it happen with Saturn Lounge, your marketing partner for clear, measurable results. Visit us today at SaturnLounge.com. When marketing works, it shows.
This is the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
The Bryan Bulaga Homer Hour. Fisco Auto Body. I tell you about them so you'll like me. Here's how it works. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin, and it's a family business owned since 1931. It's not what they do, it's who they are, and they still own the business. That means the Fiscos are still doing the work on your car. Imagine the experience they have, anybody in that family. It's one of the reasons they're so good. Expert workmanship guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. Any damage, Fisco has you covered. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. If you haven't listened to it before, you'll go there, and I know you're going to be satisfied. And then at some point, you'll think, maybe I should thank Homer because he's the one who told him about me. It's a small thing, but I like it. Fisco, to remember the name. Everybody wants to talk to Bryan Bulaga. John in Pewaukee, you're on with the Doctor of Football. Let her fly.
Bryan, I'm hoping you can share a story of like a player evaluation you had that you were spot on about and one that you were totally wrong about.
From like my playing days or just when I've gotten done playing or what specifics?
Yeah, when I think like when you're looking at somebody who's coming out and you're like, that person is going to be a good pro and they're undervalued, or you think that person is going to be a good pro and then you're wrong for whatever reason.
Yeah. So I know for sure, it was actually when I was out in LA and the Chargers drafted Rashawn Slater, I think with like the 5th or 6th pick in the draft, the left tackle. And I remember I had seen, pre-draft buildup of them and seen tape, and I've obviously watched the Big Ten, and I saw him on tape, and I was like, this dude's good. Like whoever gets this kid is going to get a franchise left tackle. And then they drafted him, and then I got to see him work in person, and I was just super impressed with him day one. His feet, his hands, his strength, his mentality. He's a great kid too. So like that was one that I had a feeling he was going to be good, and he ended up being really good. Now, here's a funny one, and I've said this out loud, and I have no problem saying it again because he ended up being one of the best players I've ever played with. When we drafted Corey Linsley in OTAs, Corey Linsley, I was like, this guy moves weird. He has weird mannerisms when he's playing. Like, I don't know if this kid's going to make it. Everyone's, like, I have no idea. Like, it was just he looked very awkward in OTAs. Like, and all the guys were saying it too. Like, man, this guy's kind of a different mover out there. He doesn't look comfortable. He doesn't look smooth. And then we get training camp and he puts pads on and it's a whole different human being. And he was just an amazing center. He ended up being one of the best players I've ever played with, Corey. So, like, that's a great example of, like, obviously I didn't evaluate him in college or anything like that. I mean, I watched Big Ten. I was familiar with him. But, like, I didn't know his, I didn't study his tape or anything. I just saw it firsthand in person in OTAs. I'm like, man, this kid's going to have a hard time. Literally 2 months later, shows up to training camp, and he's an absolute stud. And you're just like, okay. This is why I don't evaluate talent. This is why I shouldn't be doing this, because he's ridiculously good. And he ended up being, I think, one of the Packers' best centers, if not the best center that I've seen in a Packers helmet in a long time. Now, James Campen would say I'm wrong, our old line coach, because he'd say he was the best center. But regardless, they both were 63. But those are two guys that stick out to me where I thought he was going to be good, Rashawn Slater, and he was, and he still is really good. And then one, I was like, I don't know if this is going to cut it. And then he ended up being a phenomenal player.
Has it changed your approach in studying?
Well, I think what it does is it's why when I break down film and we talk about it on Mondays after games and things like that, even in preseason, I think people judge preseason way too much as well. I always give it a little bit of time to make a judgment or statement of the type of player somebody is, right? And this is going to be a very big test for all the people that have labeled Jordan Morgan this or that. We have to give him some time to actually now move to this position and play it. So it makes me always, when I'm watching tape and seeing things, it makes me double take. Like, all right, like he had a rough patch here, but like, let's see how he recovers and how he plays the next few weeks and kind of see if that was a one-off or if this is a continuing issue and things like that. So it certainly has changed my perspective on things like that.
All right. I just don't think he's strong enough. And maybe he could. Have you seen guys that weren't strong that got better at that?
It's hard. I mean, I've seen guys get stronger, obviously, in their NFL careers, but getting stronger in the weight room and then functionally doing it
is a different story.
It's two different things. Like you play strong.
John, thanks for the call, by the way.
Yeah, it's like you play strong, and it's like, and you may be weight room just not.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like, man, this dude's not that strong in the weight room, but man, when he anchors down,
right, which is why you don't watch him in the weight room and have no interest in watching him in the weight room. You watch him on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I could care less what a guy does in the weight room. Like,
can't wait till you take over. Bulaga's in charge. We don't do bench press. Here's what he wants you to do: go out and play a little bit. He'll watch you and he'll tell you right there. And I would agree with that totally. Window Nation, want to mention spring, a great time to open your windows and wait. Your windows won't open, they leak, cracked, or need repainting. During Window Nation's The More You Buy, The More You Save sale, you could save up to 50% off, plus you could get zero interest for 5 years. More, talking to you here at other times, I talk to people from Window Nation. Window Nation's not new. They've been incredibly successful, family business, and they've done great in other cities, and they finally said, we're coming to Milwaukee and do what we do and have done in so many other cities. And during there, The More You Buy, The More You Save sale, you can save up to 50% off. Plus, you could get zero interest for 5 years. And as a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers, ask how you could score a pair of Brewers tickets. Didn't go so well for the Brewers today. Gave up a homer in the 8th and the 9th, lost to the Tigers by 1. WindowNation.com now to book a consultation. And you better ask them. You better learn of how good